today's video, you're going to get some insight into how I personally work as an artist. We're going to watch me create this illustration, which was a prize for Drawn by Kiara, one of the winners of my 5K Draw This in Your Style challenge over on Instagram. It's a great chance to just get some insight into how I personally work as an artist. So go ahead, grab your coffee, or water, whatever else you might want. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. So first off, if you're new here, my name is Mia. I'm an artist and illustrator, and I just hit actually 10K on Instagram, which happened really fast after 5K. So if you'd also like a chance at having your OC drawn, keep an eye out on my Instagram page as there will be a giveaway there. But today I get to draw this character drawn by Kiara, and they gave me such freedom with it. They kind of told me I could do whatever I wanted to do, and that was great. So the first thing that I like to start out with is my thumbnailing. You're going to see their character in the bottom right of my reference board, which is via a program called PureRef, and a bunch of various poses that I found interesting. And when using poses, we're never trying to replicate the pose. We are going to try and create something new that just pays homage to your references. And these are going to be really rough. I'm not worried about clothing. I'm worried specifically about finding the right flow in the character and getting the anatomy mostly accurate. You'll see me do these little adjustments here of trying to get some proportions more in line with one another. But it is very rough. It is more focused on just the idea and trying to see compositionally what feels right. So I do what you already saw, one rough pass. Then I'm doing these second passes that are a little more refined, not as much scribble, so I can see which composition is starting to feel right. And I did like the top right and the bottom left, and I ended up ultimately choosing the top right one. Liked the bottom left, but I felt like it just hid too much of the character's face. So I've gone ahead, cut out the thumbnail onto a different layer, increased the size, and now I'm going into some clean line art. The prize for this one was a base color sketch, so not something that was really fully rendered out. Because it's not rendered, I do want to make a piece that is more line art focused and line art based. So I will make a fairly clean line art to work with here. If I'm doing a full illustration, I would probably stick with a rougher sketch underneath and just worry more about painting or almost carving the illustration. But since the prize for this one was indeed just a base color sketch with some light cell shading, I do want that nicer line art to rely on. So I'm going to go ahead and put the clothes on a separate layer so I can kind of work on them without too much of a hassle on lines overlapping. You'll see in my layers panel, I probably have about 2 to 4 layers that I flip back and forth on while creating cleaner line art, just to ensure that if I'm, working on the dress and I don't want to touch the anatomy part of it, I can go ahead and do so without concern and then just erase the dress from underneath. And again, Kiara was nice enough to just send me the original character and tell me to go with it. And I'm a fantasy artist. She likes a lot of fantasy designs, so I got this chance to just do what I felt was best. And she said she loves warriors and elves, and that's something that I do a lot of. I wanted to keep the yellow of her dress, and I wanted to keep a little bit of the purple. So I'm going to go ahead and create this nice flowing dress. I really like the idea of having a corset, like you can see in the references. I wanted one that was metal, kind of. So I'm going to make something in between these two references that I'm looking at over here. And so I'm just going to sketch it in, add in a few little details here, which I feel like is this signature swirly thing that I've been doing a lot on some of my armor. So I did some different ones on her belt because I wanted some variation. Now you're going to watch me struggle with a hand. A lot of struggling with this hand. So don't worry, we all struggle with hands. It happens a lot. I ended up finding some additional references on Pinterest of different like samurai swords holding hands. It's not as easy, I would say, to find a reference of somebody unsheathing a sword versus, utilizing a sword mid-action, mid-strike. So this was a little hard, and eventually, I put something in there and I moved forward. I said, we're gonna revisit that another time, which is fine. I think if you get frustrated enough with a certain subject while working on a piece, just do something else on the piece. Don't, beat a dead horse, for lack of a better term, trying to fix it. And what you're going to see here is I'm putting in some guiding lines for her sword. And you can easily make a cheat for straight lines by just holding down Shift, drawing one line, and then I just transform the line into the angle that I want in Photoshop. It is like my biggest gripe with Photoshop is that we do not have a hold and create an auto line like Procreate does, which I don't know how I spend so much money, and we don't even have such a basic feature anymore. Or at all. We still haven't had it yet. Adobe, do something about that, please. But that is a good workaround that I do recommend. Kind of fluffing around with some of the styles, flipping the canvas a lot before I put down the color just to make sure the things are looking correct. They don't look wonky. We don't want wonky things here. And you'll see if this looks like it's really fast, it actually is because I have a plugin. It's on Gumroad. I will try to link it below. I highly recommend the tool. It just speeds up my process so much. And all it is it's basically a tool that combines the actions of selecting, paint bucket filling, and deselecting all at the same time. And that allows me to lay in my flats much quicker than usual. So I will put that in the description. So if you are someone who likes to use the lasso tool a lot in their process, I'm pretty sure you're going to find this an invaluable plugin for Photoshop. And you're going to see here I'm actually entering in the gold, like orange. That's totally fine. I will adjust the colors later. I am just trying to get all of these down onto layers so I can go ahead and mess with it later on an adjust tool. So these rarely are the final colors that I put down while I'm in this stage of an illustration. I'm really just focused on trying to go ahead and block out them on layers, and then I'll come back and fix the hue or value of it once it's kind of all together. When I'm done here, this is going to go really fast at this point. This is how I quickly cell shade. I duplicate my base color layer, and then I add a curve and I make it darker, as well as change the hue a bit to the cooler side or warmer side depending on what I want. I hide the whole layer with a mask, and then I can paint in the shadows almost like it's a paintbrush, but it is actually a whole different layer. And that allows me to kind of very carefully and smoothly put in the shadows of the whole piece without a multiplied layer. This is much better than a multiply layer, and easily edit it too. I can go back at any point and change the hue of the entire layer, which would change all of the shadows, and my brush tool basically puts it down and my eraser tool will erase it away but still preserves the data of the actual shadow layer itself. And then I do the same thing again. Once the shadows are done, I use the curves tool again, except they make things brighter. And same thing, hide the layer with a layer mask. We're going to go ahead and smudge some stuff around to make it look really smooth. It's not a rendered piece. I just want to get the information of the light and shadows put down with one another before I send it off. And then I'm going to go ahead, add in some shadows to the background just so it doesn't look so flat. And then I also like to lock the transparency of the line art and just change it from black to more of local colors that are just darker. And that's it. That's how I create these pieces. I know it was kind of quick, but I hope that it was valuable for you all, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one.